Hi guys, I want you to watch this video more closely, then I'll see you after then for more analytics.
And then we're no taken oath in Ndlovu. Yeah. What happened in Ndlovu? He will tell us everything. Or Mulungu said I must take the money and put in the sofa. And take the sofa and lock it in the room. The whole operation, how it unfolded, Ndlovu is going to tell us the opposite. I don't think Cyril wants that. That domestic worker is going to tell us the opposite. Two of the people who were involved in that crime were killed, by the way. So we just hope Ndlovu will not be killed. We just hope that domestic worker will not be killed. 2 are down already. And the media is not writing anything about it. They have that information, they know it. 2 of the PHALA PHALA participants have died, killed. We hope Ndlovu will live to see the day of his appearance in Parliament.
The question to know is, did you know that actually 2 of people who are involved in this PHALA PHALA money robbery, 2 of those domestic workers which are being mentioned in this independent panel, that they are no more alive? Some of them had passed on. Well, it is very important that you get to know what had really happened, because it seemed like so far everyone they're quiet about it. President Ramaphosa refused to go down without fighting. Yes, the president, he refused to resign so far after the independent panel from the parliament had been submitted back to the parliament. Many people, they were expecting to see the president resigning. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Instead, the president stood up to go to the Constitution Court so that he can also challenge this report of independent panel. Guys, with that being in mind, do you know that 2 of people who are implicated in this PHALA PHALA money saga, we're talking about 2 of the domestic workers who were there, who were involved in this scenario of PHALA PHALA, they are mono alive, and so far no one is talking about it. You just watch and you get to see how Julius Malema had to bring that out, and not anywhere but in front of media. And these are the things that we're supposed to learn or to find out about it from the media. Unfortunately, everyone, they keep quiet. No one have not even talked about it. Even after Julius Malema finished talking about this part of 2 people who were in that house, they are no more alive, they are dead. The media is supposed to comment about it, to tell whether Julius Malema is right or is lying. But they keep quiet. That proves again that what Julius Malema have said really makes sense. But don't you think that it is a bit very strange to be seeing people dying at this time when they need them the most? Do you guys still remember what happened in Senzo Meyiwa case, where you get to see some people getting killed? Well, I can't say they get killed, but they die in a very strange way, whereby if you have to think with your own mind, you'll understand that something fish had happened. And this time, they are talking about people who were involved in PHALA PHALA saga scenario. So, 2 already, they're down. We don't know what killed them or what they died of. Or maybe they were sick, we don't know. Maybe they poisoned them, we don't know. Maybe someone assassinated them, we don't know. You know, with this kind of matter, anyone who's involved in this kind of situation, they must not be killed or they must not die. They have to live so that they can come and tell the side of story. Now, the moment they have to start reporting some missing people or some people dying from the sickness or from that in such short of period, that is when it will make people start wondering of what had really happened. But you get to listen to Julius Malema when he said that the one that remain in Ndlovu, since Julius Malema, they want to use him to prove to everyone, the majority of people who still believe that President Ramaphosa is innocent. According to Julius Malema, you heard himself saying that he would like to bring him to the parliament so that they will have to question Ndlovu, who's the domestic worker, who will have to come and explain, because the president, in his reports, as he gave it to the independent panel, he said that he had to remove the money from the safe case so that they will place it in the couch. And because he did not trust people who were around, because everyone had the password. But you get to listen for yourself when Julius Malema says that the password or the PIN of the safe case is something that you can change at any time. And when he's saying like this, is because he have one in his house. So you can change it at any time and replace it with something else. Unfortunately, that was not the case with the president. So he had to ask South Africans to not believe the side of story, or the story which the president says that he had to send his domestic worker to go and remove the money from a safe case so that they'll put it somewhere else. So he had to ask South Africans to not believe such kind of things.
How can a safe domestic workers have access to the safe? Domestic workers, that the money must be moved from the safe to the couch because domestic workers have got access to the safe. Two things that keep the safe is the key or the PIN. When they give you the key of the safe, there are only two. You keep one with yourself, the other one you put it safe so that when you lose this one, you have an alternative. The PIN is known by you. If you realize a lot of people know the PIN, it doesn't take 5 seconds.
And he had to go far with his way of telling the story by saying that the money came already installed inside of that couch. And the money was collected in Johannesburg, there by the Our Tambo, all the way to PHALA PHALA farm. So the story of saying that the money was first somewhere in the safe case and they had to remove it, then place it in the mattress or wherever it was located, that is another story that Julius Malema did not want to buy. According to him, he believed that the money came all the way. That is how that money got in this country. Come to think of it, I think there is possibility. Yes, there is possibility for us to believe this side of story, because this money apparently so far, there is no any proof that shows that this money, they had declared it and it had paid tax. So it has to be something that which both buyer and seller had planned on how the money will enter the house and how the money will be saved somewhere. So there's quite a lot of things. And guys, for your own information, I tried to talk to someone from Angola. He had to tell me also how President of Angola used to remove the money from country to go and save it somewhere else. And they usually have these things of calling the language of diplomacy language, whereby they will send someone who will never, you are not allowed, if you are working by the airport, for an example, you are not allowed for you to search him or to ask what is he carrying. So President of Angola, apparently, that's what he used to do. Like, he will send his people with money in dollar and cash, and they'll have to go and put it somewhere in another foreign country, so that they must not be able to declare the money and they must not be able to pay tax, and no one should not come and ask them what is this money for. So as I was saying, come to think of it, it could be also another possible way that that money had to enter the country in such a way to the point that no one will have to know about it. But unfortunately, things went wrong. And today, the truth is out. Everyone, they're talking about it. Today, the president is giving also his side of story. At first, which he refused to comment, which he refused to never say much about it. Now that things are turning around, you get to see how the president is now commenting and having some ANC members also trying to comment about it. Obviously, it is also proving what I always tell you. Yes, to those who always watch me, you know there's this language I always tell you guys, that politicians, they have power. So the power, I compare it to a suit. You know, when you're putting a nice suit on and you are receiving beautiful compliments, ladies telling you how handsome you look, you're not even going to want to take that suit off. And that's what is happening right now. Because the suit of power, because of the suit of like controlling everything, it's so beautiful on the ANC. They don't want to take it off. They don't want the story of Jacob Zuma to be repeated again, because they believe that this is not going to be good for them. They believe that this is not going to help anyone in the ANC if they have to leave President Ramaphosa to leave the office in the same way that former President Jacob Zuma left the office. They don't want that to happen. So the president of EFF said also something very important, reminding South Africans that President Ramaphosa can fool the ANC, but he can't not fool the South African people. Because the reason why we're saying this is because he believed that the ANC, they can see what is going on. They can tell already from which place or on which stage everything start going down, or where the president have violated the constitution according to all the allegations. But they are pretending to close their eyes and change something and say something else. And you guys will get to see them on the social media, on the news, on the TV, radio. See how they're talking. You can see that they are lacking of that good agreement, and they are trying to stick on something which does not even make sense. You can tell that deep down they know well that something have gone wrong. The president have done something wrong. And almost in all my videos, when I talk about Phala Phala, I had to raise up a couple of questions telling you guys that if the president ran away from this, he's not going to be able to run away from this. I show you the facts. I mentioned the questions. A lot of ways that if the president if the president managed to provide an answer to a certain question, is not going to be able to run from another question, because these things, it might sound that simple, but it's a very big allegation against someone as a constitution person, as the president himself. And the ANC so far, they are aware about it, but just because they're so in love with that suit, they don't want to take it off. They want to keep it for themselves. That is political and politician with you. They will never gonna make things easy for you. At the moment, look at them the way they are busy talking around. You get to see for yourself that no one is willing to collaborate. No one is willing to at least get the courage to admit, besides the people who are against Ramaphosa. People who've been complaining from day one. And these people right now, they are now united with the opposition leaders or parties to fight Ramaphosa from the inside the ANC. And those who are still enjoying with the ANC, they are doing the life. They close their mind and they don't talk about it. Instead, they prefer to do something else. That is when Julius Malema said that Ramaphosa can fool the ANC, but it's not going to fool everyone. And even within the ANC, is fooling those who have something to benefit from him, forgetting that These are the same people who were yesterday with Jacob Zuma. And what they're telling Ramaphosa right now is the same thing that former President Jacob Zuma was told yesterday by these people. Do you guys still remember the moment when President Ramaphosa was sworn in and Julius Malema, in behalf of the EFF, he have to come and congratulate him? Do you guys still remember the message, or should I say the warning, that Julius Malema had given to President Ramaphosa before he congratulated him? He had to remind him that, Mr. President, before you sit here, before you become a president, there was someone before you. And this person, we had told him, but he never listened to us. Yes, he reminded him that they spoke to Zuma, but since Zuma did not listen to them, see the consequences. Now that Zuma is out, you are now here. You seem to be clean so far, but you must listen. He told him a lot of things. Let's have listen.
There are people who thrive through patronizing presidents. They tell you all you want to hear, and as a result, you are unable to make informed decisions because you surrender yourself with praise singers and yes men and yes women. I've seen young men and women from the benches of...
And when I'm talking about enemies, it is in the way of politics, because somehow, somewhere out there, they get to sit down and they talk about their life. But at least at that particular moment, Julius Malema had to tell the president. So, should we say that he was a prophet? He saw all this coming? Should we say that he knew what he was saying? Because that's how you get also to say good politicians, whereby they speak about something and in the future to come, those things start realizing it. Yes. Because this message, when Julius Malema was talking to the president, we're talking about more than 5 years ago. He had to tell him all these things. And that was in the first mandate of President Ramaphosa. And today, after all these years, look where we are now. Do you think that if you have to take this video or this message and go and show it to the Mr. President Ramaphosa, do you think that he's going to smile? No. Instead, even if you don't show it with outside of his face, but deep inside, he's going to acknowledge that something had been said by this man Malema, and that things make sense. Maybe if I had listened well to his message or watching it each and every time, perhaps I was not going to be where I am today. But unfortunately, things are being too late at the moment. So, seeing the president deciding to go to the court to challenge this independent panel, well, the EFF, they respond about it and reminding people that the president is not taking the independent panel to court, instead is taking the parliament. And it is true. It is true. I mean, the person who came up with the idea to encourage the president to go to the court, to go and challenge these reports, I think that's, I don't know how it's going to work, but in my point of view, I think it was not a good idea. Because the moment the president will have to discuss this problem to the constitutional court, the question they'll ask him is, who are you challenging with? Is there any individual? Oh no, I'm challenging the independent panel. Okay, this independent panel which constitution give it right for it to come and investigate your private problem or matters? Oh no, it is the parliament. Okay, fine. If it's the parliament, why did you not go and solve this problem with the parliament? Besides, in article what, it says that you have to be held accountable to the parliament. So how possible, instead of you going to face the parliament and be held accountable over there, you are here? They will ask him those questions. And I'm afraid to say that those questions, they might end up leaving him in a very hard position. Of him not even understanding what to be his next move. Because when you get to listen to Malema, he's waiting for that opportunity so that they will take it also to another level. Because like right now, the president have the possibility of leaving the office in a very peaceful way without being held accountable, like being taken to the courts and those kind of things, and he's still going to be able to be receiving his benefit as usual. But if it happened that the president is trying to play hard and is trying to challenge the parliament, I'm afraid to say that things might end up turning very bad for him, because he's not going to be fighting against a simple individual. Instead, he will be fighting against a couple of people. Yes, almost 200 people who are seated in that parliament. They will have to fight him. So is that what the Mr. President wants? If that is the case, then I believe he's going to find people such as Julius Malema and EFF in his way. But in this video that you guys will watch earlier on, according to Julius Malema, he had to forbid everyone who's coming up, especially people of the ANC, who are coming up with excuses saying that the money, that money belongs to the president. The president did not steal this money from the state. This is not like a councillor money or whatsoever. This is a president's money. So Julius Malema went to crazy. He's like, no guys, you can't come and telling me all those nonsense. That money belongs to us as well. And he described on how this money belongs to the government.
The last point is this nonsense of saying he did not steal our money, it is his money. They stole his money, he didn't steal our money. He stole our money. We have shares in those dollars. Once they land here, they must be declared.
Ramaphosa is a businessman, and no one deny either that he can't have that kind of money. Actually, he have a lot of money, more than that. But the question is, that money, how did it enter the country? Julius Malema himself said that money, when it entered the country, it arrived through our airport. So who was going to pay for that transport? And he even said, which road will this money have to drive through? You see? So obviously things that he says on this part of his media briefing really makes sense even to me. Guys, what is hurting in all this is for the fact that the law is being harsh on other people and not to everyone. You guys who saw many people on the TV talking the story about the guy who was arrested at the airport because he was having 66,000 US dollar, and the other one who was having something like 11,000, 12,000. They got arrested because they were carrying money in cash. And when they stop them, they're supposed to justify and declare the money, and they'll leave them with the money. But since they had some complications while trying to explain on how they have this money in their possession, these people, they were arrested. Now here we're talking about someone calls by the name of, is it Ashmil or something like that, from Sudan, that so far they mention about him, his name only, but no address, no ID, nothing, whereby you can even go and try to check him. Because myself, I tried to Google him, I could not find. Of course, I find many names which look same to the one, but I can't tell which one Mr. President was describing in his report. So the men come with the money in, the money drove through the South African road, and the money did not even into South African bank. Instead, it went and sit somewhere. I believe Malema really makes sense on this one, because those roads, each and every car that, or money or whatsoever drive through it, it need to pay tax. Was that the case here? I don't know. We're gonna find out in the near future. But another place which we find very dramatic, especially myself, is when the so-called businessmen who came to buy these uncles, he give the money, but there is no any arrangement, any arrangement that you will come on the certain day or certain date to collect his uncles. Nothing at all. And this had happened already 2 years ago. Guys, you need to open your eyes, because I know someone, a former president of a certain country in Africa, who used to steal the money as well, and you'll give it to someone else. Once this person got problem, then you will have to come up with the questions to say, for an example, like, no, did you guys see me steal the money from the what? This is not actually your money. This is the money for this president. He gave me this money because I had to keep it for him. So politicians, they can do all those things, and it is very, very possible for them to do so. But guys, let's wait and see what will happen. This is now an open battle, because the ANC, they don't want to leave President Ramaphosa. Instead, they decided to support him. You guys saw what is happening there in Nasrec, where the National Executive Committee, they have to come and support him, and asking everyone in the parliament to vote against that report. So on the other side, you guys, you heard how Julius Malema is calling all the members of the parliament to vote with their mind. They should keep in the mind that we are voting for the good reasons, and we are not voting for our political parties. So will them have to disobey the ANC and obey him or not? Or should they have to do it for South African people, especially those who had voted for them? Let's wait and see. We're still gonna be here to give you all the updates and our analytics about this problem of Phala Phala. Today I want to be this short to you, because I'll be having load shedding any moment from now. So I think it's going to be a good idea that I make this short video. I hope you find something benefit in this video, that it will also make you understand about what is happening. My name is Dobsi Nyembe. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. Please, before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button for me, give me your thumbs up. I'll really do appreciate. And for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. Hashtag Phala Phala. We're going to find out the whole truth very soon. Ciao, ciao.